to our podcast today called From Ordinary to Extraordinary Women Who Lead. And today I have a very special guest. I have gotten to know in one of my courses, and this lady is quite an inspiration. I'd like to welcome you, Annabella Nassetti. Annabella Nassetti is the founder and creative director of A Living Concept. She does incredible work. So welcome, Annabella.
Thank you, Mari. Thanks for inviting me for this to this podcast.
You're so welcome. Before I get to the formal questions, each of these podcasts have a theme that the guest chooses. And your theme is freedom, which I find extremely, extremely liberating and inspiring. Before you get to the story, why freedom?
Freedom has been, I think, the drive in my life that was ingrained in me, and to get to freedom is how I managed to overcome all the issues all the life stories that happen that most of the time stop people from progressing. So freedom was ultimately what I always wanted, because I come from quite a strong family, so we have quite strong characters, and seeing my dad, my sister, my brother, everyone older than me being so, controlling, I was like, how am I going to be controlled all my life? So no way. So from very young, I always said, no, I need to find an alternative. So I started very young. Yes.
Amazing. And is freedom the one thing that you will never compromise on?
Never, because freedom that leads you to what you want, which then is not freedom, right? Because freedom gets you to whatever the ultimate goal for you is, which is what your purpose is, what makes you, what fulfills your drive and your inspirations, no? Aspirations. So yeah, that's still today. I've achieved pretty much what I wanted to achieve. So I am happy with what I did, and then I'm enjoying it, making the best with what I've done. And that is also talking to other women and trying to help, if I can, to sort of stimulate other people.
Amazing. Okay. So please, without keeping us in suspense any further, share your remarkable and personal story. It's amazing. Thank you, Annabelle.
Well, my story is, I don't know, it has many sort of perspectives to it, but I'll try to keep it to the point. And I grew up in Milan, which is the sort of capital of design, which is the capital of design and beauty. So I grew up surrounded with beautiful things, and very also quite privileged. I grew up in a family that was pretty much quite a powerful family. So I was also the youngest of three. So whatever I said didn't really matter. I was like always the little one. And I never felt like I belonged, because it was too much for me to take on. I was very sportive, so I was just doing things that I liked. But I never felt like I knew what I wanted to do. Of course, I was overwhelmed by my father and everything else that we had. Until I was at university when I was 19, and I had quite a tragic event, a fatal car crash where I sort of had many injuries over my whole body. I was in a coma for a week, and I was more dead than alive. And I lost my two best friends, and it took me a long time to recover. And the physical, emotional, and psychological damage was quite extensive, and it brought me into a coping mode for many years. Many years of psychotherapy, psychiatry, etc. And I managed to recover, but what it caused me to do was leave what I had started to study previously, which was business, to go and work for my dad. And I went into something that I really liked, linked to beauty, which was design, industrial design. I think that my physical injuries also connected me to the product design, which is product design is about beauty, functionality, limits of production, but also the relationship between objects and the human body, which is the ergonomics. And I was very passionate about that. So that's why I think I went also into product design, to design objects that interact with us. And that changed my life. I love the profession. So I actually dedicated my life to it. And then I changed from product design to interior design to come to live in London. And I started my quite a successful career about more than 20 years ago now. And starting from the bottom, where you don't know, you don't have anything left to grasp on. My only way to recover, apart from, of course, the therapy that I did, was self curing. Yeah, I started doing meditation, yoga, RTT, which is rapid transformational therapy. And, a lot of sort of mindfulness, things that I could do on my own, being in nature, walking my dog, and I reconnected with my body, my soul, and my spirit. And meditating every day is what led me to do everything that I want to do. This is connected to the freedom, right? And what you want is part of what the meditation is on a daily basis, right? And having done that for many years, I really connected myself. And I have to say that having followed my gut, my instinct, my passion is what led me to be successful in my business. So the dedication following to my connection with myself and what your real, true inner self is what leads you to make changes. And I set up my business with my partner, also my life partner. And after many years, when I got out of my coping mode, that was literally 5 years ago, it's like I was born again. I couldn't recognize my life. I had sensations that I couldn't recognize anymore. And I had to say, my God, I have to leave all of this because I need to find myself again. Because I had been 25 years in a coping mode, which I was like totally shocked by, But that's what happens when you have big trauma. That's how long it takes for you to get out. Your body, your mind protects yourself from feeling things that you normally feel. So there you go. 5 years ago, I exploded again, went into depression, and I started, doing further work on myself. And I made big changes, and I also had to leave my relationship for that.
That's amazing. Okay, Annabella, I want to take it a step back. You mentioned coping mode. You were in coping mode for a long time. What was that like? Explain to us, because I want to get to where you are now and the difference. So if you have to explain that coping mode, how was that?
Coping mode is when you go through, there's many levels of coping mode. We're all in coping modes all the time. Mine was, I think, a pretty deep one because I had injuries in my whole body, both legs, my arm, my face. I was in a coma for a week. I lost one of my eyesight. So it was pretty heavy. And my whole body went into a like autopilot mode. From a psychological level, when they tell you lost your two best friends and you were driving the car, the grief, the weight of that is hard to absorb. So your body goes into this coping mode. And I remember telling myself over the years, it cannot be this easy. I used to look at the mirror and say, Annabella, it cannot be this easy. And I was thinking, well, let's hope nothing happens, because you're like, how can people recover from things like this? But this is post-traumatic stress disorder and all of that, yeah. And but then it was suddenly from one day to the next. My God, I could literally, it's like black and white. Physical sensations, thoughts. It's like, oh my God, but this is very different from what I've been doing until yesterday, what I've been thinking until yesterday. So I had to again follow my freedom dream, and that's what I started shifting my behavior to suit what I was finding.
So this is amazing, from one day literally to the next. So what What was the new thought? So the old thought was sort of that, and the new thought that came up, what was that?
Well, I had I had a perfect relationship and a perfect even work position where my business partner and me were running very successful business, and I was doing a lot less than I'm doing now because she was taking care of a lot of it. And but one day I said, Annabella, you have to do, the fact that the business was run so perfectly for me and I was doing little, it didn't satisfy me. So I just had this drive, that I had to say, Annabella, you need to do what you feel like doing. And I started detaching from my partner, but very honestly saying, there's nothing wrong, but I just have to do this because otherwise I don't fulfill myself. And it's literally physical and emotional and thoughts and things that, what triggers you. And I had to follow it.
And looking back, it obviously took a very traumatic event where there was a lot of trauma and a lot of loss and injury. I mean, it's horrendous for you to realize who you really are. Um, would you trade the position you are in now with yourself where you are, um, even though it cost you to leave a relationship? Would you trade it for anything? Your freedom?
No, I wouldn't because now, you close one door, many other open, right? And this is what I said. I said, I cannot, if I don't do this, I will never know, right? And I said, I don't wanna die not having left, not having unsung certain songs, I have to, you cannot regret not having done something. It's just the most, I can't. So I said, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put because I was following my heart. So when you follow your heart, there's nothing wrong. You can't go wrong. And I was very honest and I was very, very, careful in the way I did it, very respectful. And in fact, today, we're very close friends. We still work together because I said, if it's meant to be, it will be. In fact, it is, it's, our own lives. But still, what was valuable, the business and the friendship, which many times is so important than just the love relationship, no, is what needs to float, what needs to stay alive, and that's what I managed to get to. So yes, I wouldn't exchange it for anything.
And also now, through this whole thing, now that you've gone through the fire, you've walked through the fire, what would you say is important in life?
What's important in life is to follow your passion, which will, uh, it's just what's important in life is your passion. How you get to your passion is by linking with your soul, with your spirit. So be important to connect with yourself, number one. And from that, everything will just unravel on its own, and do things with care and connections, of course, connections being surrounded by the right people and where you close to where you are, Don't think too far away. Be close to the people that are near you because that's our destiny. That's where we are. Forget technology. I love technology, but I think it's pointless to be talking to people in China when we have a whole, our family is here. Our family is also our neighbors and people that surround us, our neighborhood, and that's I think what matters.
That was amazing. Okay, now, Annabelle, tell us about one big mess you made, something that went completely wrong, and what you did about it, and what you took from it.
Oh my God. Well, the big mess happened again recently, and it's been again a consequence of my breakup between this past few, 6, 7 months ago, a year ago. I was in the middle of this very big project, And the project that I designed with my soul and my heart, it was a stunning project for an existing client, so very, very special. And again, separation during the project, nothing I recommend. It's just not nice, but that's what I had to do. That was at some point I had to do it. So separation, I separated the supply of certain items I designed, a lot of items I designed for this project. So Annabella, you can manage it on your own, of course. And off I went to find the suppliers of these very, very high spec items I designed for a whole house. I went to look for producers in Italy, which is my home country, of course, that promised me to deliver perfection, of course. And the problem is, the mistake I made is thinking that people are like me. I wouldn't fool anyone. It doesn't even occur to me to not give 100% of what I promised to somebody, whether it's personal or professional. And of course, the people that I knew, one company I knew for 20 years, the other one I knew quite a few years, but still promised gold to me. And I gave them the full supply of this project. And the money with the, great advance. And my God, they literally betrayed me 100%. They was 5 months late. I have to pay again. I have to pay twice for the items because they said, but if you don't pay, we overspend the money. We don't know. They literally mismanaged the finance and the production of this very complex package of furniture. And they said, if you don't pay, we will not deliver. Already I had told them I was late for the client because I had my personal issues. So I was even more under stress because I'm like, God, the client has been waiting already because they know my personal issue. And now I give it to you because you're friends, because you say you will do it for me. And I trust you, trust. And today is what? 11th of August, 12th of August. I received the house. I still haven't received many of the items. They are still faulty. They have not even turned up in London to look at their supply. I paid and paid them again. So big mistake. But what I did is I either don't deliver the house to the client, not an option, because I have a personal commitment. And I just put my money in, huge amounts of money. And of course, when you start paying for one, they probably think, oh, she's got the money, let her, it's, vicious circle. So then, my God, I repaid for everything again, but at least it's delivered. It's almost finished. It looks amazing. And this is what you have to do. But I will talk to the client when they arrive back from holiday, but let's see how it goes. What's important for me is my commitment to the client. I could have gone bankrupt. I haven't by luck, but that's what happened.
So what was the mistake you made? Trusting people you didn't know? What?
Yeah, trusting and believing, being too light. We need to be in business. You need to never trust a friend, number one in business. Never trust, which is a bad thing to say because it's not nice to say don't trust, but you need to be trust. It's better not to trust. It's better to just be very thorough, and especially when you manage somebody else's money, right? It wasn't my money. Ultimately, it was my client's money, and it's my responsibility ultimately. And I wasn't as careful as I should have been, but to be honest with you, I have micromanaged them. And it was only in March, April this year that they started saying, we overspent, we don't have the money. And I said, what do I do? If they started saying this to me in November, December, of course I could have done something else. But they deceived me by dragging it on until February, March, April, May. And then of course there's nothing I can do. I cannot start again, can I? So, go and see what the production is. Go and participate where you invest your money, be present and know what they're doing with it. and always keep short with the payments, because it's a huge risk. People take advantage.
What I think is wonderful, what I'm hearing is that you were actually prepared to risk bankruptcy instead of your reputation and the quality of your work. That is amazing. It really is amazing, Annabella. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, everybody normally has a saying, the one thing they say over and over again, their personal quote. What's the thing that you either say to yourself or to others to get a message across? What would you say is that?
Well, I always tell people well, for myself, I use a strapline, which is design is talent, experience is gold. Because, experience is that's, I'm talented, but then what really makes me, professionally and accountable for what I do is my experience. And what I learned in life is important in life. And for business also, it's not just business. Mine are relationships. I create houses for my clients. I create sanctuaries for them. It's a very intimate relationship. It's not just, selling something, right? So, but what I tell people is to you don't realize how strong you are until strength is the only thing you have. And you have no idea how strong we are. It's unbelievable. And if you say no to something, another million things open up. 99%. And whatever you find yourself in, whatever situation you find yourself in, you'll get out of it. Because the instinct of survival that we have in ourselves, inbuilt, is what keeps us always on the edge and always at the forefront of the best way to resolve, overcome, take over life situations, So there, and go out there and live your life. Otherwise, be active, not passive. Put it that way.
That is amazing. And is that your message to the women listening to this? Or do you have another message? Anything you'd like to leave them with?
It's follow your dream, meditate, link with what you want from inside. What's your dream? Be realistic and do little steps in that direction, because that will take you to where you want to go.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Annabella. So thank you for sharing. And it's incredible that you have turned this terrible tragedy around to find your freedom and find yourself and your passion. And look.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time here today.
Thank you, Marie.